Good evening, it's Brian at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. I want to show you this 1.5 turbo S-Design Honda Civic. Brian's my name. If there's any information like in this particular car, please give me a call 086 843 1945, or if you come to the garage, just ask for Brian. The garage is located in Kildare town, which is just off the M7 motorway, between junctions 12 and 13. So we're about 30 minutes south of Dublin. If you want directions, just give me a call 086 843 1945 and ask for Brian. So this car, as we were saying, is the 1.5 turbo, and it's the S-Design model, and it's absolutely stunning. I'm going to go through just the specifications on the car, and we'll do a quick comparison to a similar 1 litre model. For comparison, we're going to use this 1 litre Smart Plus model, which is already a really nice car, just to show you the differences what you get on the 1.5 versus the 1 litre. So for anyone considering the 1.5, this particular power plant is going to be their main motivation. This car, 1.5 turbo with a VTEC setup, producing 182 brake horsepower. However, it manages to have a road tax rate of just €280 for the year. Keeping in tune of the power idea, if we start up this 1 litre model, we can see we get a nice startup sequence with a blue background. When we start the 1.5, however, we see the dials, which were blue, are now red. So it's the first indication that we're in something a little bit more special. In a similar theme, the 1 litre has an iMed setup in here, which will basically tell us information such as safety belts, maintenance information, radio, Bluetooth for phone, and various other kinds of information like navigation. However, there is one extra tab on the 1.5, which is this one, and that relates to the turbine. So basically, depending how much turbo we're using, it's going to give us some feedback. In the 1 litre model, the power is delivered quite nicely, and like a lot of petrol cars with VTEC, up around the high areas around maybe 4.5 to 5,000 RPM, that's where we see a lot of the power. But one thing about the 1 litre is we'll see the red line here starts at 5750, so it limits a little bit earlier than the 1.5 counterpart. Like the 1 litre, up around 4.5, 5,000 RPM we see an awful lot of power in this particular car. Because of the VTEC setup with variable valve timing and also the turbocharger that brings up the power from low. However, if we look along here, the engine is just over 6,500 RPM where we hit the red line. So there's quite a significant difference. This extra band along here develops quite a lot of power, and you really notice it going up through the gears. Unfortunately, this evening is wet, so we can't really go from first gear, but just to give an idea, if we floor the car in second gear, it gives us an idea of what kind of power we get. The result of this 1.5 power means that you're going to walk around with a pretty stupid grin like this on your face the whole time. But seriously, with all due respect, it is such a nice car to drive. There's a mountain of power. I actually challenge you to come try this car and get out of it and not be blown away by it. So as we can see, the 1.5 has got some nice power features on it, but there's some other cool aesthetic features that come with this particular model as well. So again, using the 1 litre Smart Plus as our yardstick, the car normally comes with double optic headlights up front, as well as front fog lights, with a nice daytime running light that comes down around along here. Full lights located here, dip lights here, fog lights here, indicators up through here. The 1.5, however, gets a really distinctive setup at the front. So if we look at where the indicators were, they've now recessed higher up into the headlamp, and they're an LED. The second thing is, the daytime running light has stayed in the same place. However, the dipped headlights are an LED also. The full headlamps in here are also an LED. We also get a headlight washer as well. And down lower, the front fog light, which is unusual, has also become an LED. So the headlamps are actually pretty good on these cars already because of the double optic setup. However, with the LEDs on the fulls and the dips and the front fog lights, it's even better. And I think one of the most distinguishing features on the 1.5 is the dual exit exhaust. Again, using the 1 litre Smart Plus, it's got quite a nice rear bumper with a diffuser up along through here. However, if we look at the 1.5, it gets this damn cool center exit even exhaust. The other thing we'll notice as well, the other car had a small diffuser up along through the back. This one is more pronounced. And this theme continues all the way down the side of the car. So if we look at this one here, there's a small extended skirt all the way down the side of the car, which is absent on our 1 litre Smart Plus model. The 1 litre Smart Plus has a small lip down low along here to extend the front bumper and make it quite sporty. However, the 1.5 has a more extended version down along through here, so it makes it look much more aggressive, keeping in the tones of the whole car overall. I will admit that I'm completely biased. However, this car, since it's landed at our garage, and I think it's going to be a continuing theme, the amount of people that look at this car, regardless of if they've come in to look at a Honda Civic or not, and even the people that work here. It's got such a nice executive look overall. And I think this grey colour really helps as well. The black sections on the front and rear bumpers, as well as the front, side and rear extensions, including the privacy windows along the black and the black which wraps around the windows, it all comes together to have a very, very nice effect. But it looks very congruent overall. So far we've covered the differences between the 1 litre and the 1.5 model. So any of the features we discussed are unique to the 1.5. The rest of the features we're going to talk about are available on some 1 litre models and all the 1.5s after that. Boot size is cavernous, it's bigger than the older model, and it's also one of the best in class too. It's also got this unusual cover which we can use. Apologies about the quality, it's just getting a little bit dark outside. So this brings along from one side to the other and covers the boot section. The other thing then, if we look at the boot up through here, this area down through here is attached to the boot, so it means when you close the boot overall, when we factor in the privacy glass, you really cannot see what's in the boot of the car. So it's great for security. This dual barrel LED rear lamp setup is really, really nice, and it's integrated into the rear spoiler, which is standard in all the Civic models. All Civics also come standard with its roof mounted spoiler, which is useful for aerodynamic efficiency and also looks really nice too. The shark fin aerial is there to house radio as well as satellite navigation functions. This particular model is called the S-Design. S-Design, like most of its Civic counterparts, will have the Honda Connect setup. So the Honda Connect setup will be quite comprehensive, and it will include information such as navigation, which is powered by Garmin. This will also allow customers to update their navigation for free during the ownership of the car. We have Bluetooth, as you'd expect, various settings overall, AHA, which is an internet radio app, audio up through here, which is going to allow us to play USB, auxiliary, HDMI if we want to play a video, and then the usual AM, FM functions with digital radio setup. As we move down along through, we've also got trip information and then a smartphone connection. If you have an iPhone, it'll allow Apple CarPlay. If you've got an Android, it'll allow Android Auto. The idea of the smartphone connections means that it becomes a more familiar screen. So the Honda Connect screen that we've just looked at, it actually starts to bring up, so for example on an Apple, it'll bring up your redial, your dial, your messaging, and you can also speak messages using Siri as well. So it just becomes much more user friendly and probably more similar to how you'd use your phone normally. Honda Connect in this S-Design model also incorporates a rear reversing camera, which is various different patterns to allow wider, narrower or more vertical approaches for reversing. As with all Civic models, park brake has now become electronic with a brake hold. The idea is that we have a larger area in the centre without the handbrake, for storage and for an armrest also. Some people are fearful of the automatic park brake, but it's actually quite easy to use. The whole idea is that when you have the car in neutral and you select first gear, once you use the accelerator and release the clutch, the handbrake even automatically disengages. If you want to engage the handbrake, it's literally just a matter of pulling up the lever. So it's actually easier, more convenient. It's only a matter of practice. The other thing as well is the car will have an auto hold function. So it means if you're on a hill, the car can't roll backwards. So when you take your foot off the brake to put it onto the accelerator, the car will not roll backwards. I really love the whole Connect system in this particular car. It even houses things like the climate control. So everything is operated from the one screen, but it's not complicated. Each tab brings you into one area and you don't have to go any further. So for example, if you go into audio, everything's right there. On some and previous versions of it, you went into audio and then you might have to dig down into another menu to be more specific for what you want. But with everything here, it's one touch to get into that particular tab and everything is in the one area. So it's really, really simple to use. It looks complicated initially, but after maybe 10-15 seconds, it's quite easy to familiarise yourself with the car. As we've seen with the turbine function, there's lots and lots of information up through the centre, so the driver can basically keep their eyes on the road. So if you have a look ahead, the first thing is general information overall. We have information about fuel consumption and how much fuel we have left. We have speed warnings if we want to put them on, the turbine information which you've seen already, any navigation information that's on the car at the time, it'll come up through here. After that then we can move on to the current speed zone that we're in, speed alarm, any of the safety belts not being worn, maintenance information, music information depending how we're playing music, and then down through there through Bluetooth, and this is for various information about maintenance on the car that the service guys would use here. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but videos will follow on these particular functions here. But standard on this car is going to be cruise control, and it'll also have a function which basically allows you to choose how far you want to stay behind the car in front. So if we see up here in the top right hand corner, we're selecting a distance meter. So basically, if we were cruising behind the car in front, rather than hitting the brake, the car will actually follow the car in front depending on the distance that you've chosen. So it means you can actually set the speed as you want, and then the car will follow the car in front. So it means you don't have to touch the brake at all. So it's really, really convenient. Using the same controls, we can also select a lane keep assist, which we see coming up through here. Again, I'm just getting a chance to actually detail this in the video, but if you come to drive the car, I can show you. The lane keep assist means that if you drift out of the centre of your lane and you start to touch a lane which is marked on the left or the right hand side, the car will warn you by vibrating the steering wheel, and it'll also always look to keep the car centred between those lanes so you don't actually end up drifting out in the first place. So again, very, very useful for driver fatigue. Other safety features on the car include this autonomous braking. So it means that under 32 kilometers an hour, if you're about to impact an object and the car senses the danger ahead, if you don't touch the clutch or the brake, the car will actually apply the brakes. The idea being, if you're going to impact an object, the speed at which you impact that object is going to be reduced autonomously by the car. Parking sensors will be standard front and rear. We can watch the headlights from here if we like. This is just our lane departure warning. And also then we have traction control with stability control to keep the car in a straight line and stop the wheels from spinning when we go to accelerate. Wipers on this S-Design model will be automated, so when it senses rain, mist or any sort of precipitation, the wipers will come on themselves. Headlights are also automated. So when it gets dark, the headlights will turn themselves on. However, these headlamps also have a high beam support. So when there's traffic coming towards you, or if you're in a lit up area, we'll have the dipped headlight illuminated. When we meet oncoming traffic and it's passed by us, or we're gone into an unlit area, the headlights will go back into a full function then through here. And that's without the driver having to select them. Other cool features on this car include a mobiliser for anti-theft and also an alarm. Related to that will also be a full open or closure even function. So as you can see from the key, I can let the windows down, or similarly, I can let the windows up and also retract the wing mirrors just using the key. So it's dead handy. Looking at this car overall, it's so cool. The headlamps, which are HID, and the fog lamps, which are HID, really make such a dramatic effect to the front of the car. The nice little skirts along the front and the side and along to the rear really are congruent with the colour of the wheels and the black inserts on the front bumper as well as the rear bumper. The twin exit exhaust really makes the car distinctive looking, and it's got a nice hum to it too. I think it's one of the best looking cars around. I'm completely biased, but honestly, if you compare it to whatever else is on the market right now, and looking at the price point of this actual S-Design, with the features that are in it, the running costs, and the actual how the car looks, I think it's probably one of the best packages on the market. But don't take my word for it. Why don't you come and try it? If you come to the garage, just ask for Brian. I challenge you to drive this car and not get out of it and be super impressed. Even just walking around the car on the outside, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. The other thing that's quite noticeable on these cars, they're a lot bigger than the last model. And some of the trade-ins that we see coming in now are all different sizes. We have people with Jeeps, larger saloon executive cars, as well as obviously people with Honda Civics already. If you're familiar with the Honda Civic, and this car is already on your radar, I'd like to talk to you. Brian's my name, 086-843-1945. If you'd like to come try the car, have a look, information on trade-ins or anything like that, just give me a shout. But also, if you're somebody that hasn't thought about the Honda Civic, but after watching this, maybe you're now thinking about it, again, we'd love to talk to you too. We can do competitive finance rates because we deal with all the major lenders. We can do very good trade-ins because we always stock a massive amount of second-hand cars here. So I look forward to talking to you. If you want to contact us again, 086-843-1945, or if you come to the garage, just ask for Brian. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and hopefully the car's of interest.